If your mind is always racing and rambling, jumping from one thought to the next as you switch from one distraction to the next, you may have a problem. Your first instinct is to exert some sort of command over this. This mental fixation is a direct result of the social nature of your life and the upbringing that you received. However, once you become aware that your mind is wandering and you take action to stop it, you will then be able to observe the results. You are attentive, which indicates that you are not making an effort to converse. He is just conscious of the chatter that is going on. If you follow my advice, you will notice that your mind becomes clear, and this is most likely the state that a normal, healthy human being is in. Observe how still he is. You may witness the movement of a river, a cloud, or a tree with a very tranquil mind, because these things do not hold a lot of significance for you. Observing yourself, on the other hand, is considerably more challenging due to the fact that the requirements there are very tangible and the reactions are swift. Therefore, if you find yourself in close proximity to an unpleasant mental state, such as dread, despair, loneliness, or envy, make an effort to stare at it in such a way that your mind is still enough to be able to notice it. When we have a clear understanding of who we are, every moment of our lives is a manifestation of the ego's watchful gaze. Ego is a very complicated process that can only be seen in relationships, in our everyday actions, in how we communicate, in how we evaluate, in how we calculate, in how we condemn others, and in how we blame ourselves. The conditioned state of our own thinking is exposed by all of this, and it is critical that we remain conscious of this entire process. If you struggle to stay mindful, you could consider keeping a journal in which you record every thought and emotion that crosses your mind throughout the day. Jot down your feelings of envy, vanity, jealousy, and other emotions, as well as the objectives that lie behind your statements. If you write these things down whenever you can, and then review what you wrote throughout the day right before you go to sleep at night, study, and analyze it without judgment or condemnation, you will start to uncover the underlying reasons for your thoughts, feelings, and words. Examining what you have put down with your own free intelligence is the most crucial part of this. And through this process, you will become more conscious of your own state. The fire of self-awareness and self-knowledge allows for the identification and elimination of the factors that contribute to conflict. For a good number of days, you should keep a journal in which you record your thoughts, feelings, intentions, and reactions. This should be done until you are able to be instantaneously aware of them. In meditation, one must not only maintain constant self-awareness, but also maintain constant relinquishment of the ego. From right thinking emerges meditation, which gives rise to the tranquility and wisdom of contemplation. In this state of peace, the utmost potential can be realized. When you record your thoughts, feelings, wants, and responses on paper, you create an internal conscience. This fosters collaboration between the unconscious and the awareness, which ultimately results in integration and comprehension. This is without a doubt one of the most crucial questions that we need to ask ourselves. How far and how deeply is it possible for the mind to delve within itself? Only a mind that is absolutely devoid of any distractions can get at the truth. In addition, there is not just a theoretical world, but also a physical one. An infinity that can only be comprehended by the intellect once it has observed its own actions and realized its own nature. What makes peace possible, understanding the entirety of the process that is oneself, is what brings about true mental peace and tranquility. This does not mean looking for peace, though. Rather, it means comprehending oneself. Having self-knowledge does not entail amassing information about oneself. Rather, it implies keeping a close eye on oneself. If I educate myself by gathering information, I won't discover anything new about who I am. We don't require the guidance of any guru or authority or educator in order to comprehend the workings of daily life. What we need to do is simply watch and be conscious of our behaviors, ideas, and motivations, and investigate whether or not it is possible to completely transform our human tendencies, beliefs, and hopelessness. Knowing oneself is the beginning of wisdom. Ignorance is the result of not understanding ourselves on a fundamental level, and you can't know yourself if you can't look at yourself and see yourself precisely as you are, without any deformation, and without the urge to change anything. Observing without assigning blame or passing judgment. There is enormous beauty and clarity of observation when one looks without condemnation, makes no value judgments, and makes no assumptions. If you examine yourself in this way without making a choice, then in that awareness there is attention. But there is no entity that exists either as the observer or the thing viewed. There is no observer that is looking at what he is viewing. He is only observing. What you see changes because the distance between the observer and the thing being watched has vanished, and as a result, there is no longer any conflict. It takes a lot of intellect, a state of intense attentiveness, alertness, mental sharpness, and constant observation in order to fully comprehend the I. This is necessary in order to prevent the I from escaping. We have no choice but to look at ourselves as we truly are, and we must refrain from labeling or judging what we see. We must simply watch it. They will then have the passion and energy necessary to notice, and in the act of observation, an astonishing change will take place. Self-knowledge is the source of both you are aware of and can comprehend every one of your emotions and thoughts, every second of every single day. The entirety of this comprehension is the key to answering all of life's questions. When we pay attention and connect with it here and now, we reap the rewards of wisdom, acceptance, love, and the desire to ease suffering and spread joy. When we are experiencing intense feelings, we are aware that it may be risky to act while they are influencing us. But we do not have the mental or physical capacity to refrain from doing so. We have to master the skill of breathing, both inhaling and exhaling, pausing whatever it is that we are doing and bringing our emotions back under control. We have to figure out how to become more steady and unmovable, like an oak tree, and not allow ourselves to be blown around by the storm. There are a number of techniques that the Buddha taught his students that can help them unwind so that they can better experience the present moment. The procedures can be broken down into 5 steps as a whole: acknowledgement, acceptance, and embracement, along with a glance into the depths and perspective. When we are frustrated, we will remark, "I acknowledge that the frustration is within me." Acceptance: when we feel angry, rather than denying that we are upset, we choose to accept what is now happening. The majority of the challenges we face may be overcome if we are willing to pay attention to and make sense of our inner anguish. Our undivided focus makes room for feeling, and it is this alone that can soothe both our rage and ourselves. Looking in depth, when we have reached an appropriate level of composure, we will be able to take a closer look at the events that led to our anger. Understanding the fundamental and secondary factors, as well as the reasons themselves, that are responsible for the rage is the reward that comes from looking more closely. Maybe we were angry because a friend of ours said something in a condescending manner, but then we suddenly recall that this guy is not feeling well today since his father is quite ill. This helped us let go of our resentment. We will continue to think about things in this manner until we have an understanding of the source of our current anguish. When we have a better grasp of the circumstance, we will know what actions to take and which ones to avoid. Recognizing, accepting, embracing, examining deeply, and gaining insight are the 5 steps to calming the body and mind. You will be able to take care of the things that happen inside of you and the things that happen around you if you meditate regularly. Meditation will teach you these skills. When we are aware of and profoundly in touch with the present moment, our comprehension of what is taking place expands, and we start to feel acceptance, joy, peace, and love. Keep in mind that there is only one time that matters, and that time is right now. The present now is the only time that we have control over. At any given time, you have the ability to make a decision that will either bring you closer to your spirit or push you further away from it. Meditation is a path to enlightenment. Your failure to meditate keeps you in a state of ignorance. Learn to distinguish between things that will move you forward and those that will keep you back, and then pick the one that will bring you wisdom.